Bonsoir tout le monde. My name is Saber, for those of you who don't know me yet. I am an American expat and I help women around the globe reclaim their full entire lifestyle and get paid to be who they truly are. And today I'm having a conversation with a woman. Gosh, it's been at least 2 years since I have brought her on. And I've spoken with hundreds of women, maybe over 1,000 at this point, in the past 6 years, women who are really ready to take back their lives, like really actually get out of burnout and do something that's really sustainable for themselves, for their bodies, for their nervous system. And there's a lot of different blocks that can come up, especially for us as women. And I feel that Amberlee, who I'm about to bring on all the way from Australia, has a beautiful story that I know will resonate with so many of you, whether you are a mother or not yet, or maybe you're not sure if you want to be. I know her story is really going to resonate with the woman who is just really, truly ready to thrive and not sacrifice with her family, not sacrifice things for her body, just to create a livelihood. And this conversation is so important, especially with where the world is at today. And, with so much noise on social media with what's going on in the world, I just want to come on here and just share what's possible, as always. So I'm going to bring on Amberlee. Feel free to grab some tea and sit with us. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat along the way. And I'm going to bring her on. Warm bath. So I've got my cozy clothes underneath. Mm. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you, stranger?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just envious I don't have a cup of tea. I just have an oversized water bottle. I was like, oh, I don't look as elegant as you right now. I was like, the sophistication that you're sharing to the world right now is quite beautiful, actually. You're radiating,
Oh,
in all honesty.
yay. Thank you. I love having a hot cup of tea whenever I'm like sharing. It just really feels like whether I'm sharing or creating, just a warm beverage. It's really like, it just
Mm,
grounds me to the moment. And of course, the water as well.
yeah, I know it too well. And how are things in Paris?
Things are really lovely. I was just in the UK for 4 months. I kind of had this phase where I was like, I don't think I like Paris, the stereotype of Parisians. Oh, it was getting to me. These people aren't welcoming. And then I
Mm,
left and had a beautiful time. But um, things just panned out to where I needed to come back. So I'm
mm,
back with my cats. I thought I was going to be handing my apartment over to another woman, but she decided to change her mind. I decided to change my mind. It all worked out. So yeah, I feel like I'm here in a new chapter. We're about to enter a year into the
mm,
fire horse, and I just feel a lot of that snake energy that I know a lot of women are also feeling as well, just like these
mm.
old paradigms shedding. And I'm really grateful I took a step back. It's almost like if you are, kind of having a conflict with a lover that you've just needed space from, and then you come back and
Yeah.
you realize the deeper long-term vision of what brought you here in the first place, you know?
Hmm. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting you talk about that because if we break down human design and how human design looks at each, like the 64 gates of human design come through like January, February, March, like every month. But January is that we all think it's about starting, like we've been conditioned by society to believe this is the time we implement new goals and strategy. But January is actually when we rip everything up and we get rid of everything that no longer serves us. And then in February is when we come back into alignment to what it is our soul wants, and which is really fascinating.
Mm.
It's the reason why so many people fail at their goals, like going for their goals in January, because it's actually not the time to start. And it's very much in alignment with Chinese astrology. And it's interesting you talk about the year of the snake, because what's happened for me in the last 6 to 8 weeks is that I've been shedding layers that no longer
Mm.
serve me. And I've been witnessing other women do the same. That's going over what's called the bridge of incidents, where we're getting rid of things that we can't take into the next aspects, the next chapters of our lives.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. That's a beautiful share. I don't really think that I've fully tuned into the frequency of the Chinese New Year actually until I realized this year it's on my mom's birthday and it's
Mm,
the date that I'm releasing my podcast. So it all makes sense, you know. It's always such a portal of a time as well because my birthday is January 28th, and
mm.
man, there's just such a big upheaval. I feel like even in the industry that we're in, and I'm really excited for you to like share your journey and unpack because, you know, I don't, when did you actually start your high ticket affiliate marketing business?
I think
How
it's
many
actually
years?
going to be it'll be 7 years in April. It will be, which is fascinating. Yeah, 7 years, which is
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
powerful. That's amazing. And we've seen so many changes, you know, just in like the
Mhm.
collective, how we've done things, how we've done business. I guess I would just love for you to sort of share whatever feels alive in your heart right now,
Mm,
like why you feel like, well, what feels alive in your heart right now of why you've been here for 7 years and what feels really sustaining and nourishing that women need to hear today.
mm. And I have to take a moment, and I don't know if other women resonate with this, and give me one in the comments, that sometimes I'll just jump in to respond rather than actually talk from what the truth of my heart is. Like if I, and it's very intellectual. Our minds, we get conditioned by school systems that we're meant to have a response straight away, and that there's
Yeah.
awkwardness in the pause. But right now, I just want to invite everyone to like lean into their heart, and there's always a deep why we do what we do. And
Mm.
we think our why has to be the same as everybody else. And if we look at my journey, if I look at it really, like if I strip back the layers, one of the things that I found frustrating growing up, and I'm 44, so I'm a little bit older than you, Saber, and maybe a little bit older than the people in the audience. So I'm sort of in a generation where I saw the limitations of my grandmother, who was caught up in a mindset of, which was what the world told her. My grandmother, my dad's mother particularly, got told that the choice that she had is that she could have a career, and the career was basically teaching, nursing. It was very limited on what she could do, or she could become a mother. But if she chose to be a mother, she'd have to sacrifice all her
Mm.
dreams and ambitions. That was the way. And if we look at time before that, women were actually seen as livestock. Like they were marked on lists. And you're not even aware of this. Like in times in particular, yeah, we were considered as the livestock, the ownership of the property. And if you look at
Wow.
it deeper, it wasn't until like the 1980s that a woman could get her own mortgage and buy her own home. There was so many laws around the freedoms that women have. And I share this because I witnessed even my grandmother give up her ambitions and her dreams and for being a mother. And then I witnessed the same with my mother. My mother is that generation between where there was more opportunities, and she wanted to be a police officer, but her life was so consumed with, because she became a mother at such a young age, like 2021, that she actually didn't go off and do those things. And it's not even just about motherhood. You just saw women again and again limited
Mm.
in what they could do. And so when I found this business, I had tried to make 5 different online business models work before this. And in all honesty, those online business models were created for men, the way that a man works. Like, and even if I go deeper into human design, it was created for manifestors, which is only like 2% of the population, who are here to initiate and make things happen. And I found a lot of frustrations when I found like high ticket sales, high ticket affiliate marketing. It ticked the boxes because something that really mattered to me was spirituality. What also mattered to me is personal development, and it was a business model that allowed me to become the best version of myself. And a driving force of me of doing that is that I wanted to be the change maker in my family. and the cycle breaker, and the one that showed not only my children what's possible for them, but also rewriting for 7 generations that came before me, for those
Mhm.
women that all my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmothers that were limited on what they could do and frustrated by a system that wouldn't allow them to go off and do what it is that they wanted to do. And so for me, I even feel it. I hear my grandmother's my whispering behind me, like that you are the cycle breaker, you're changing, making a difference. And that's what I loved about this business model. I didn't see it at the time because when I found this business model, I wanted something that would allow me to help women spiritually. I wanted to help women physically, if we take into the aspects of that. And I also wanted to help women financially. And I never ever thought that this business model would be the thing that I would go into. I actually ran away from things like this. I judged it, I criticized it, I think there was something wrong with it. And when I came into it, it was everything that I was looking for. And it wasn't just the potential of making thousands of dollars online. It was also the fact that I got to create a different way. And something that was big for me is because we'll come back to my mother's story. My mom would tell me, you can do whatever you want to do. And I used to believe that when I was a child. But then when I became a teenager, I questioned that because she wasn't doing what she wanted to do. And
Right.
so for me, it was like, I have to find a way that allows me to have my dreams, my ambitions, so that I'm living that, so that when my children come to teenage years, despite me saying you can do and be whatever you want to do, that they know that because mum is living it. So there's like many aspects. If we tie it together, it was about the fact of being a cycle breaker, creating a different future for my children, but also rewriting the past. And it was also really, I wanted something that allowed me to be myself or authentically me. I didn't have to hide my stories from the past. I didn't have to pretend to be something I'm not. I only had to be myself. And my whole success has come in this business, and you know it too well, Saber, is that the more that we take off the layers that we put around ourselves and trying to be what everyone else thinks we should be and come home to who we are, the more success we create.
Yes, that's so beautiful. I really resonated with what you said around like the 7 generations deep and being a cycle breaker for that. And I think it's just really fascinating that we all feel this. We feel this and we know this deep inside. But regardless of all of that, there still is a lot of this judgment and there's a lot of this shame that comes up. And I know you had this actually come up a lot when with Frank, your partner, right? When he was like not into it when you were first exploring it. And for a lot of women, that judgment or that fear or that shame just it just stifles, it just stops them. And I really want to crack open this powerful conversation because this is the shame runs deep, like generations of can a woman really actually go and build a business that actually is aligned with her body and intuition. Linear and masculine structures and constructs are like, no, that's crazy. You gotta like go
Mm.
work hard and you gotta do the thing that everybody else does, right? Because it's proven. And well, not that our business isn't proven because it's been around 52 years, but it's still relatively new in regards to the
Mm.
paradigm, especially with how we do online and everything. So did can you elaborate on some of these judgments and fears around this industry, around this decision, especially in regards with what came up with your partner and how you really have been alchemizing that from the beginning and obviously until now?
It's really fascinating how Frank took this business. There wasn't judgments. Like he's always supported me in everything that I've ever done. But his big concern was like, when are you going to stop chasing rainbows?
Mm.
And what I mean by that is that I'd done all these other different things and hadn't created success. And in many ways, it's interesting because he was an entrepreneur himself. He was working a job. He created this phenomenal Burley business that was making like $10,000 a month straight away. But because it's such a unique business model, he couldn't put his mind around it. And I also want to say it was communicated in a very feminine way. And what I mean by is men are very
Totally.
logic, give me like write it down, ABC, show me what this business model is, how do I do it so I can understand it.
Yeah.
Whereas I couldn't communicate it. It was just a deep knowing in my body that this was the way forward. And I couldn't communicate what it was. And that's what I find with a lot of women in this business, that they don't know how to communicate it to their partners. So their partners don't understand it because we communicate in a very feminine way. Women are led by intuition, our deep knowing, and my knowing knew this. It was also back to where I shared is that he was concerned, and we've had many conversations about this. I was chasing rainbows. Is that he couldn't cope with my disappointment he'd seen in all the other business models I'd attempted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what men want to do is they want to fix the problem. They want to resolve the problem. So his frustrations was he wanted me to have success, but he didn't know how to create it. So he didn't want to put that on my shoulder, like on his shoulders again, like thinking, oh, what if she fails? And then I have to hold that. And there is no such thing as failure. I really want people to understand here. I had to have those 5 business models not be successful to come to a point of where when I saw this business model, it made sense. And it made sense because I was trying to do everything, like wear all the hats. I was trying to do the sales pages, the web, so that we've got the websites, the sales pages, the ads, like all these aspects I didn't understand. But what I loved about this business model is that I could just get really good at social media, and I could outsource everything out. Like, people did my sales. I had people helping me in the inbox from my mentor. There was all these aspects that I didn't have to worry about, so I could just focus on one thing to get really good at it. And if we come back to where we were sharing, like with I in our relationship, I never seek out permission for the things that I do. I always
Yes.
seek out support. So, and this is the thing, like if I go deeper into human design so people can understand this, is um about 30% of the population don't have their ego defined. And so what that means is that we constantly have this part of ourselves questioning whether we're worthy.
Mm.
Like we don't think that we're worthy. Only 30% of the population know that they're worthy, they know who they are. 70% of us don't. And because we don't have that, we seek outside ourselves people's permission rather than going into, and if I give, do you mind if I give a little insight on people?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
what we need to look into is like your strategy and authority in your unique human design. Are you a generator or mani gen, Saber? I remember which one are you?
I'm a generator.
Do you know if you're emotional or you're not quite sure?
Sacral.
Sacral. So this is a beautiful example. When Saber saw this business model, she would have known in her gut it's a yes or a no. Like a sacral generator, they're a yes or no. Whereas if you've got an emotional authority, you've got to ride the highs and lows of it. Like the high be, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I think it's incredible. I want to do it. Then you're going to have these extreme lows like, oh no, this is not going to work. I've done 6
Wow.
business models before. It doesn't work. And then you'll get to this equal place of like, oh, I know this is for me or it isn't for me. Spleen is like light in a dark room. If you're a splenic authority, it's like all of a sudden you get this flash of light. It's quick, it's sudden, and you're like, this is the path. I need to take this path. If we talk about ego, depending like a manifesting ego, if you're a manifesting ego, it's like this light goes off. I'm sorry, it's like, how can I say it? The best way to put it, it's like the shotgun of a race. Like it's boom, let's go. We're running like a horse. This is the thing I need to do. Self-projected means that they need projected, they need to talk out loud. And as for me, I'm a mental projector. I have to be in the right environment, have no one. And this is the thing. I would used to seek out people's um to listen to me on what I was sharing. It's called sounding out. But what I've come to learn is that I can't have a conversation with somebody who has an agenda behind the decision I'm making. So I didn't understand this at the time. And it's really a tip for everyone. Like if you're wanting to sound out your choice, it's not a good idea to have a conversation with someone that wants something from the decision you're making. So if they are like, if it's your partner and that you're sounding out to them this decision, and if it's going to take money from your bank account, it's actually not your bank account. It's actually not a good idea to send it out with them. It's better off to send it out with somebody that's neutral, so that you don't have to
Mm.
have their energy influencing your decision. And a reflector, it's 28 days. The reflector has to wait 28 days to make a decision like that. And coming back to it, where like full circle to my husband, is what I used to do, and this is for the people with the undefined ego, is that you'll go to someone and you'll seek out their validation on your decision when they actually, 9 times out of 10, want to influence your decision.
Mm.
And so you're better off having a conversation with someone that's completely out of that sphere of the decision that you're making. So you can come to a place of like, it's your choice. And so when I came to my husband about this, he brought up these concerns, but because I'd made a choice outside him not having his, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want you to support me with it. I know you may not understand the choice that I'm making, but I said it's right by me, is what I need to do. And that choice changed the trajectory of our entire life. Because if we look at the long story, is that mandates came in here in Australia that weren't in agreement with my family. And
Mhm.
we were able to have him away from working for 3 years. We were able to travel Australia. Like this, we've got a different caravan now, but we brought a brand new car and caravan to travel around Australia. We were allowed. My husband was able to be at home with his children for 3 years because of a choice that he didn't necessarily get. But I made a choice myself personally that I was going to seek out his support rather
Mm.
than his agreement on it.
Mm. I love that. And that is powerful. Everything that you just said about human design. So this is the thing. This would revolutionize if this was like context, if we just all knew this info. But I speak to so many women, they just kind of get frozen around it, or they kind of want to
Mm,
like skirt tail around a partner, things like this. And I think what you did was something that, okay, this is also a thing that I wanted to ask you, because what you did is something that I think a lot of women think that they can't do, or maybe it's not in their place to do. And this is again when I was talking about that judgment, because you had mentioned that you had judgment about the a business model like this, yeah,
mm,
before, because I know you had done you were a yoga teacher and an NLP practitioner and like various other types of self-employed.
absolutely.
Yeah, so like I speak with a lot of women who are breathwork facilitators, they're artists, they're retreat facilitators, they're yoga teachers, and these kinds of things. And you know, if they have a partner involved, sometimes, often the man will be the provider, right? So then they're in this
Mm,
space where it's like, okay, how is the dynamic? They always want to, they don't want to make decisions if the partner isn't 100% on board. But what you did was actually requested support, and there was this mutual trust there that was really, really beautiful, because what you just said of being able to have him out of work at a time where mandates were happening, you guys got to travel, you guys got to homeschool your kids, your kids didn't have to face mandates, like that's a really big deal. And that is the rewards of sovereignty. And
mm.
that is literally what women don't realize is on the other side of them requesting support. So, what would you say to the woman that feels she's in this space of her partner just not being open to it? How would you, because of course, maybe she doesn't have all of the info about human design as well. How would you actually recommend for a woman to sort of reframe what the real opportunity is here for sovereignty?
That's a big one.
I
Lead with
know.
your feelings. It's a big one. It's such a big one because I still tiptoe. around my husband. Like if I just blurted out automatically, and this is my husband, he's an Aries, his human design chart is like ready to fight. He's a fighter, like he's ready to fight. So if I come in initiating, like he'll get, So a big thing for me is, and in this, and Gillian Armstrong really talks into this work. If you haven't read the Queen's Code or the Keys to the Kingdom, I
Allison
really
Armstrong?
recommend. Alison, thank you. Alison Armstrong, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. But her books are The Queen's Code and
Yeah.
Keys to the Kingdom. And the reason why I recommend this is because it allowed me not only to understand my husband, it allowed me to understand the choices that my dad made. Like it healed a lot of
Mm,
trauma around my dad because I got to understand men, got to understand how they think and how they communicate. And the difference between men, the way the man's brain works is, and it's just hardwired from a little boy, and I see it with my son, is they are constantly working out who the alpha is in the room. Like
mm,
even when you watch them as 3-year olds, that's why they're wrestling each other. They're actually wrestling each other to find out who is the strongest, who is the alpha in the room. It's bizarre.
yeah.
And it, and so without your husband or your partner being aware of is automatically like they go into defense mode
Mm,
because they're like they're alpha, like they're the alpha in their home. And it's I hate saying that because I'm somebody about sovereignty and female rights, but it's just the way their brain thinks. Their brain sees that they're the alpha, that they're the provider. It's primitive. It's just the way the primitive brain works. And so if we come in a certain way, automatically they're up for that fight. Like they're that 3-year old ready to wrestle to find out who the alpha is in the room. But the way a woman gets around that is through expressing their feelings, is starting with their feelings first. And so for me, when I had that conversation, I actually broke down into tears and said that I my concerns were, and I stated them. I said it like, we had a young boy at the time and I was doing yoga teaching and I didn't like yoga teaching. And the reason why I don't like yoga teaching is because you never paid the money you were.
mm,
You are never. And unless you run your own studio, and I can talk about that in a minute, your employer or the person you're contracted to dictates to you, like when you can work, how much you can work. And if you own your own studio, and this is where I had, like, I could have invested $100,000. We were looking at investing in a studio to create my own studio, that there is no time freedom. The woman that owned the studio I was working there, she was there from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. And
wow.
that doesn't work around being a mother, and it doesn't work around being a woman as well.
No.
So how I communicated
Oh,
to my
God.
husband is I let my feelings lead the way. I didn't accuse him of anything. I didn't say anything. I shared about myself. I shared about my frustrations of the job that I was working. Like, and it's just that, and he knew, he kept telling me to quit because he knew that this person was exploiting me as a yoga teacher. They were exploiting me, not paying me enough. Like they're even having team meetings and expecting us to come and not pay us, which is not okay in Australia. It's against the law. So my husband was like stating all these things. So he knew about it. So I said like, and I talked about the fact that I saw the vision. I said to him that I see this as a means is that I see how hard you work to provide for me. And I want to make it 50-50 so that we have income coming in so that you don't have to work so hard. So you don't have to sacrifice those moments with our son. Because my son was at an age where he was screaming, Daddy, don't go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working so much because I was making money, but I wasn't making enough money to make it 50-50 in our house. And I also talked about my fears. I was really honest. I said, if you die tomorrow, I said, I don't have anything for myself. I said, that's like one of my fears is that I'm so dependent on you that I, I was like, and I also, I'll be honest here, I've talked about it honestly, and I don't know, because I sort of keep it off my socials now because my son's older. My past life, I worked as a sex worker. And so there was this fear in the background because I didn't want to go back to that work, but I thought that was the only work because I earned a lot of money. I earned like $4,000 to $5,000 in 3 days in that job. I earned a lot of money, and there was
Yeah.
money, and it was running in the background, like that fear was running. And he never wanted me to go back to that work. He knows I did that work, and I said, "This is the fear. I'm scared that if something happens to you tomorrow, I won't be financially looked after." I said, and this is the only thing that my brain keeps saying, but I see an avenue where I can create more money. So I didn't come from this place of accusing him and saying, "Oh, you don't support me in anything I do," because we do support each other. I came from a place of feelings. I shared my fears. I shared the vision that I had. And I said, "I just want you to trust me. Like,
Mm.
trust me on this." And he did. Like, he wholeheartedly trusts me. And I need to put in the background is that the reason why, even though he had his trepidations, is, and this is important for every woman that's watching this, I want you to reflect upon, do you support your partner, your husband, on what they want to do in the background? So when my husband came and told me that he wanted to create the Burley business, I'll be honest, I was freaking out because he laid about $20,000 of our money into building that Burley business, like to buy like a mincer. It says mince up sardines. I was like, and he brought all these freezers, and there was no guarantee of money. But despite that fear, I didn't say for him not to do it. I actually held that on myself and said, "Okay, I trust your choices." It's the same as the little things, like when he wants to go fishing and hunting. I never stopped him from doing all those things. So when I presented this, even though he had his trepidations, it was this beautiful energetic exchange because I trusted him in his choices. He was willing to trust me in my choices too. So I know I've given this feedback of how to communicate it, but I also want you to reflect upon, are you trusting the choices that he's making and what he wants to do with his life? Because if you do that, automatically he will come in and support you. You may have to come through with your feelings and your ambitions and what you're choosing to create, but he will support you because you're supporting him.
Mm. It gives me so many goosebumps. I'm over here tearing up because I just really love the alchemy that comes through when you really just bring to the table your truth and the mutual support and the mutual trust in that. And I'm seeing this comment right now, and I would love to address it because I know there's a lot. I speak to a lot of moms, I really do. Ever since
Mm.
even I was younger, I always had friends that were like in their 40s and were moms. I don't know, it's probably because I don't have my own mother here these days. So there's a lot of moms who are single moms as well,
Mm.
and I'm really curious for you what you have to share for women who are in that space of having the support from your partner is a godsend. That's amazing. That's
Mm.
beautiful. But what if you get that part taken away? Like this was your fear,
Mm.
right? That you were
Yeah.
expressing. It was your fear of like, well, what would I do? Like go to sex work? And I know a lot of women. I am not like against sex work. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, if it feels in alignment, if it feels like an empowering reclamation experience for you, there's so much alchemy that can happen through it, if it's clean. But the problem is the gray area is it's not clean for a lot of people
No, it's
because
not.
it comes from survival. And if it's coming from survival versus just exploration, you're already full in your cup. It's literally something you would do, even if you had, $1 million in your bank account. You just want to have this experience. That's a different scenario, right? But so what would you say to the woman who is in that space that was your fear then?
It's a good question. And you talked about single mums, and I just really want to say, like, first up, um, that work that I did when I went into it, I owed like $10,000 to the Australian government. I was around 26, 27. I actually met my husband through that work. I'm very honest about that. That's how I met my
That
husband.
is so
Um,
wild.
it's so what it was a beautiful journey, and I wouldn't take it back. But looking in hindsight, understanding like how sacred that act is. I'm actually going to say that, and I would have thought when you're in like 20s that's ridiculous, but it actually is. If you think about it, you I allowed men's energy to come into my body. It's different for a man because the man is inserting himself into you, but you're allowing somebody to come in. And my body is still releasing. I believe I've released people from that work out of my body. I have, because I never did a transaction with anyone that I never wanted to do. I had sovereignty over my choices. I didn't do anything I didn't want to do. It's interesting. The memories that come back up are the ones before there where I allowed men to use me and abuse me.
Mm.
And so my intention in sharing this is that that energy gets stored in your body as a woman. It's really important for you to know that, is because we have a womb. The womb, it stores energy, it creates life, it builds life. And so even though I learned so much, my husband came from that, I still would make those choices. But at this age, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And that's why that fear was there, because I knew I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be in it. I think it's really important that I talk into the single mums. No, I'm not a single mother. I have worked very hard in my relationship, and it's not a judgment of anyone here, because I'm going to say this. I've had to work really hard to make sure that this relationship continues to be together. And it's not a judgment of any mothers here, because I am a mum. I'm a daughter of 6 children, single mum. So
Wow.
I know how fucking hard it is for a mother to make a choice to leave that partner. And my mother made that choice because my dad, and I'm not going to put this on here because I want to protect their privacy, but there's things that happened when I was a young girl that was not okay. And my mother made a hard choice to choose her children first over this individual. So I'm coming from this place that I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it is to witness as a child watching your mother clean 3 houses a day to make sure that she could make ends meet, and send you to a good school because the school in your area produced young girls that got pregnant at young ages. So my
Mm.
mum worked really hard. So I know how hard it is. But I'm here to tell those single mothers that there is an easier way. There absolutely is an easier way. And that easier way is the whispering of your soul that's telling you in the background, which is so different. Like when I found this business model, I was like, was nobody else is doing it. It doesn't make sense. People are going to judge me. But despite that, I followed that whispering of my soul. And I believe, like, the many ways this business saved our relationship as well. It saved my relationship with my husband because it forced me to go within it. It forced me to let go of the resentments and everything that I had holding on to him, that I had on him and everyone on the outside world, and come to this place to not only create incredible money online, but I've become an incredible mother. And bringing it back to my mum is that I know my mum was a smart woman and she was capable of so much more, but she didn't see that and she didn't listen to that whispering. And as a mum and a single mum, you've got that whispering going on in the background. And you are the one that chooses to be with your children, and they're with you 24/7. Who you are today is who they become tomorrow. And I'll bring it back to this because after my mum made some bad choices, and one of her partners, we've got real deep, Saber, I hope you don't mind, is that
Love it.
one of the choices that my mum made in my teenage years, when I was about 11, and she's still with that man, he wasn't a good man. Did drugs, he did alcohol. And do you want to know who my first partner was? He was a heroin addict, because I thought it was okay because my mum made the choices of who her partner was when I was 11. And so I share that, is that your soul is whispering in the background. You're here for so much more. This is the pathway. You have to listen to it and you have to take it, because it comes back to what I shared earlier, Saber, is that you are the cycle breaker. And the way the cycle breaks is by you creating a different pathway, which gives your children permission to take that pathway too.
Mm. Boom.
Mm.
I fucking love what we do.
It's so good.
Like my master class, it's called a holistic lifestyle reclamation. I'm like falling apart with my tears right now. But I realized that it really is that, because I've been here for 6 years and you've been here for 7. You know, there's a reason why when people really catch this wave, it's like there's nothing else like it. A holistic lifestyle reclamation, like truly every area of your life gets transformed. And I'm excited because I'm really deepening my expression and the way that I share about this space. Because I think, you know, in 2020, when I started, and it was very much like everyone's getting online, and I left the country that had the mandates, and then it was all just like travel and make money online, be a digital nomad. And it's like, it is so much deeper than that now that I'm
Mm.
here on the other side, 6 years. You know, I lived these bucket list things that I never thought that I would ever live in my entire life. But what's most rewarding on the, I know, right?
Yeah,
what's
go
most
did.
what's most rewarding on the other side of that is just like really recognizing um yeah, like the I'm still moving through it, like lots of judgments from people, like they don't understand this industry, they don't understand, you know, like there is a lot of smoke and mirrors online. So it's like for us who are so in our truth and so in our heart, and we have this golden ticket in this world that's like, I'm feeling a lot of heaviness with a lot of the stuff that's going on, especially with the president and the country that I'm from, you know, like, um, and I just feel so fucking passionate about what we do. And it's like, I just want to scream it from the rooftops. I'm like, I just want to get as fucking rich and influential as possible. I'm not like a fucking stupid influencer world. Like, I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about like, for as many conscious women to get as rich and influential as possible so we could be the ones that are the presidents, you know, like truly. And that's like the energy that I'm on. Maybe not everyone wants to have that big of a vision, but like I really see that we're all a part of this reclamation that we really need to be moving into, you know, and like, and I see people who love what they do, just like you were. You know, well, you didn't love yoga teaching, but I'm sure you loved yoga. I'm sure it sounded like a good idea when you
I loved
started it.
yoga. I loved yoga. I loved yoga. But I didn't
Yeah,
love the teaching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
right.
loved
It
yoga.
was like we get passionate about something, we turn our passions to profit, and I see people who are doing that world, but you know, you read the book like Rich Dad Poor Dad or The Psychology of Money or these kinds of things, you start to learn, oh wow, people who are really like generationally rich, they don't trade their time for money, you know, like they do other things. So it's really when people actually understand and get educated about this industry and take off the judgment and take off the projection or assumptions or whatever it is, it's like what's literally on the other side is a version of you that you don't even know yet. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid of that version of them.
They are. They are. They are.
Yeah, I think they're afraid of that version of them where it's like, obviously, they would be moving in and being like fully aligned, but there's like fear of visibility, fear of being seen, fear of sharing your heart, and you know, daring to dream, daring to be somebody with an
Mm.
opinion, with a voice, daring to be, you know, somebody that chooses something better for their lives when there are people who are struggling. But like the paradigm of that is like, what if the person who is choosing more for their lives can actually give for overflow and be the permission for others? Because that's what I see like with the magic with the company that we're in. It's in 180 countries around the world, and I'm starting to share how it's in underserved countries as well. Like I want people to know it's
Mm.
not just like white women, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very like literally when you say chain breaker, that it's not a Instagram quote. It's not like, it's literally something that goes very, very deep along the threads of humanity. Um, so I guess with that, I feel that the thing I would love to sort of wrap this in a beautiful full circle bow is Amberlee. What, wait, hold on. What is it that you feel the person needs to hear, man or woman, who is experiencing the projections, the assumptions, the judgments, the shame, that's like, I would love to do what these women are doing, but the projection and the shame and the what would you say for a woman to really reclaim her power? What's the foundation to really do that?
It's really a deep question. And the first thing that comes to mind is a quote that I know that wisdom is only knowledge until we choose to embody it.
Mm,
And how things come into our world is that you'll get a download of what it is that you're meant to do. You'll get this powerful download. But if the body doesn't feel safe with it,
mm,
it doesn't reject it. What happens is all your unconscious patterns, beliefs surface because the unconscious mind runs 95% of the show.
yeah.
And the unconscious actually lives in the body. And the mind thinks, the body feels. And your central nervous system is the vocal cord to your body. So if you think about it, if you go, like, think of the four responses of something that happens in your life, even the opportunity here, it's like you've got fawn, freeze, fight, flight. That's your central nervous system's response. You'll either fight it and wrestle it, and it's not for you. You'll freeze and you don't know what to do. You'll flee, like this opportunity, oh, gotta run, or you'll hide. You'll absolutely hide. And the only way through this is like simple, like it's so simple, is like your breath. Like if you actually center into your breath. Oh, who's making that noise? Hang on, is that your cat? Well, it's your cat if it is. But
No,
what
we're good.
it's all good. But what I'm saying is as simple as the breath.
Mm,
If you actually tune into your breath and you come into this moment, and this is like you giving yourself permission to embody it, in this moment, you're safe. And that's when the true voice speaks. It's not the voices of the past or the voices of the future. It's actually like if everybody just takes, like, I know there's people watching now, just take a breath. Like, take a breath in through your nose, not your mouth. So breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't rush. Just let the breath linger there for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now breathe out by your mouth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let your senses guide you. Listen to the sounds around you, the smells. What can you smell in the air? Now let the saliva move in your mouth. What do you taste? Bring your fingers together. Feel your fingertips. Or touch your nose just like beautiful Saber. Like, touch. And open your eyes and look around the room and see what you see. And don't force it. Let it come to you. And I love that you're yawning right now, which is expanding your brain for so much more, is because all we need is right here in us. We don't need it externally outside of ourselves. I've invested in thousands upon thousands of dollars on mentors, hoping that they would make my business succeed, followed everything that they said I should do, and it was complete opposite to that knowing inside of myself. And then when I came back to that knowing, that's where my success lies, and that's where your success lies. And that knowing is quiet. It doesn't scream. Those voices in your head, the ones of your body, when you've got that download, aren't true. But you've got to allow yourself to feel safe in your body with the choices that you're making, and it's there. And once your body believes it and trusts it, your mind catches up and then you go and create it. So we're coming from this place, is like, where what would I share? It's about feeling safe in your body, making sure, looking at the environments that you're in when you make the choices and the decisions that you're making. Or if you've got a big message that you want to share with the world and aren't feeling safe to share it with the world yet, share it with the people that you feel safe with, that
Mm,
you know that will support you. Like, and if you've got, I also want to say, if you know that you're here to make impact online, the truth is that you're going to have people that hate it. And the more powerful you become and the more your message gets out there, you're going to, I've had reels that have had millions of views on them and so much hatred. But on the flip side is the difference, is the love. So you've just got to focus on that and your why. And
mm.
coming back to that, like your body, allow, and the breath. If you just actually come into the now, you're always safe in the now. Always.
Ah, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, love. I do feel that this business really, there's no hiding, like in any true success doing anything. Well, maybe not anything. Let me rephrase that. Definitely this business, because it's a holistic
Mm.
lifestyle reclamation, right? We're not like behind the screen selling dog food on e-commerce or something.
That's
But
it.
the to really step into your power, to really own your worth, to own your wealth, to own your voice, is to learn how to be safe in that. And I would actually also love to add is that oftentimes, I'll get this from women is they feel that their system can't take it. They have to be regulated before they do the thing. But
Mm.
this can be a big story for a lot of women that stops them from actually learning and
Mm.
taking their steps. I always think of it like a rubber band. This is how I think of it. It's like a rubber band. You could
Mm.
stretch a rubber band and it could break, right? Your consciousness, your nervous system, your capacity. This is like your ability to hold wealth, to hold a team, to hold money, to hold whatever it is, responsibility. You
Mm.
could stretch a rubber band and it could break, or you could stretch it just enough to where it definitely has that resistance, but it's not going to break. It's not going to
Mm.
snap. And it's when it calibrates to that enough, that rubber band, you let it go and you're like, oh, but we're just this size now. Like we've just expanded this. This is our new baseline. This is our new normal. So yeah, I feel that I've sort of come into and still coming into myself and my body and feeling safe, 6
Mm.
years later. I feel that I've grown a lot through that. Man, when I look at some of my first videos, I posted one recently, but you can really see that I was just I had the courage to show up exactly how I was,
Mm.
you know. But through that and learning that I didn't die on the other side, and yes, I did also have haters online. A woman that threw up literally over an hour's worth of YouTube videos about me. It was like a whole thing, yeah, of like Christy and Louise Millman and other women in our community, and it was like, you know, the other side of it is really truly love. And when we come back to, like, for me, this is what it's about, is service. So sometimes it's like I'm coming back to speaking. I'm launching my podcast soon. It's called Reclamation Era, and there's a lot that comes up for me, and really standing in this energy of reclamation and sharing.
Mm.
But you know what, just like we're doing right now, coming and doing it always happens at the beginning of the videos. I always feel a little bit, I'm calibrating to the
Mm.
energy, but then I start to drop in. Um, then that just comes through practice as well. But you start to trust yourself. The more that
And
you
it's,
really, really embody this, that is the more that you just trust yourself and your soul nudges, like you were saying.
and coming to this moment, like this moment, because we jump to the past, we jump to the future, but if we just take the breath and come back into our body, and if human design, I really recommend anyone go looking deeper into their human design, because if you listen to your strategy, like for you, say that gut instinct, yes or no, even though it's scary and your gut is saying, yes, you have to do it. You have, like, you have to do it. There is a stretch, absolutely, because you can't become that woman that you envision unless you're willing to stretch yourself to become that person. Like, the reason why your bank account is what it is, it's a reflection of who you are today. But if you're willing to stretch yourself, within that stretching, your bank account's going to grow too. The skill set that you have to go and create those dreams, and also, if we look at it, you don't take anyone's bullshit anymore. You become this sovereign woman that says, this is what I'm available for, and this is what I'm not available for. You have, I want to say it, boundaries. You put up boundaries because you choose yourself first.
Love it. We love it. Well, I call them standards. I love the standards.
I love that.
Like,
Said it. Yep. Loving expectations. I tend to call them loving
oh,
expectations.
that's really
Yeah.
good. I love that.
Yeah. I got
Here's a
that
bit
from
of a
someone
read.
else.
I love that. Oh, I want to look at this comment.
Oh,
She said, I follow human design, but based on the true sky in real time versus the human design based on triopocal astrology, which is 24 degrees off. Well, that's interesting.
that's really interesting.
I love that. Well, thank you so
Mm.
much for coming on, Amberlee. This has been such a beautiful conversation. And what a frequency shift from the last one we had. Hey, I think this was back in like
Absolutely.
2023. Um, yeah, I was actually looking at that interview recently. I was like, wow, we need to do a new one. It's like such a different timeline and
Mm.
a beautiful representation of this as well. And for anyone who has been really leaning in and really wanting to, whether you've been following myself or Amberlee or whoever shared this video with you, give yourself the gift to follow the muse. That's what I always love to say, is follow the muse. You're not meant to follow the news. You're meant to follow the muse. And when you really trust that and really lean into that, it's just incredible what happens on the other side. I know for me, I had no idea that I was going to be living in Europe with plans to buy a castle and turn it into an event center and like digging up codes within the lands of Scotland and tuning into these lineage callings, right? Like, I had no idea. I'm sure Amberlee had no idea that she was going to be able to completely change the trajectory of her entire family, and really be able to create this security with herself, with her kids, to be able to be the permission slip for her kids and future generations and really break the chains, and this is something that we teach in free classes. Whoever's page you're watching this on, if you're listening to this on my podcast, there is the link in the show notes. You guys can check it out. But whoever's page you're watching this on, just reach out to them and ask them for information, because truly, the more that we just educate and listen to our bodies and our feelings, you'll really know if this is for you or not. Like, it will really feel like a fuck yes or fuck no, or it will kind of bring up these things like we were talking about. And as we get to explore that together, and we get to explore, like, what are these resistances, what are the stories, what are the narratives, and ultimately you get to create the narrative of the future. It doesn't matter whatever is going on in the world right now, you still literally have choice. In fact, more than we've ever had in history. So take the opportunity. Thank you so much, my dear. And is there anything else you would like to say before we head out?
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the transformation that I've seen from the woman that you were when you first started the business to the woman you are today. It's beautiful to witness. And what I love more than anything is it's a woman that understands who she is and chooses herself first. And I I know there's moments that you've had difficulties in not only what happened with your relationship, also in respects of people not necessarily supporting the path that you've gone on. But what I love is that you are the lighthouse that so many of us need. So thank you for being brave enough to choose a different path and
Mm.
be what humanity needs.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much, love. I really appreciate that and really receive that. And I'm really honored to be on this journey with you. And I hope to see you in Japan. on the summer solstice?
I, I'd love to say that, but for me, the choice that I've made and it's changed my business and the way I do things is me first, the kids, and then business. And so Japan, my kids are so young. I'm like, no, for
Yeah.
me, it's kids. But I know that we'll see one another. I know we will, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I know we will too.
Yeah.
Love you so much, love. Thank you
I
so
love you
much for
too.
coming on here. Have a beautiful rest of your day and excited for anyone who's watching this, especially on the replay and the live. Thank you for those of you who tuned in the whole time. Definitely come and follow the muse and see what's here. We would be happy to support you on what this can look like in your holistic lifestyle reclamation and seeing what's possible. Bye for now.